On this week's show, after a serious injury derailed his career, see how Liberty receiver Ree Smith has battled his way back onto the field for the Flames.
Plus, we introduce you to a unique program that comes alongside LU student athletes and show you how you can help people in need. That's all in this Flame Central.
Welcome into Flame Central, your home for the best coverage of Liberty Flames athletics. Alongside Emily Austin, I'm Matt Warner.
We have a great show for you today, including the incredible comeback story of Liberty wide receiver Ree Smith. But first, we start the show a little differently.
Yeah, normally we'd be showing highlights of Liberty football's game against Appalachian State. It was the biggest game on the schedule this season, but Hurricane Helene would change all of that. The effects of the storm leading to the cancellation of the game and bringing devastation to much of the Southeast. With more on the aftermath and how people can help, Emily recently caught up with Samaritans Purse COO Edward Graham.
Edward, try to describe the devastation that you're seeing in Boone, North Carolina right now.
Yeah, well, thanks, Emily, for having me. It's hard to put in words. I've been born and raised here and came home about 6 years later after moving away from the military, and I've never seen flooding like this. Hurricane Hugo is kind of the benchmark we've always used, and this just trumps Hugo. The old timers will talk about the 40s, and they say it was worse than that. This is bad. You're watching entire communities gone, devastated, so bad so that even our medical systems needed help. We've set up not just our normal disaster relief we do all the time that Samaritans Purse may be known for, but we're also set up some medical capabilities here at the Watauga Hospital. We set up an oxygen station and tent with staff there because people couldn't recharge and didn't have power to their oxygen system, so they were coming to us. And then we did the same thing in nearby Avery County. Now Avery County has asked for a Tier 1 hospital, and we're setting that up there to help deal. Avery is going to be it was decimated, and it's just these narrow valleys. When this much water comes in, it destroys large parts of communities built alongside of them, and it's hard to watch. But I tell you what, this morning we had a couple hundred volunteers show up at my local church to start going out just here in Boone.
How else are you seeing the Lord at work during such a devastating time?
We work and we go to meet the immediate needs, and we want people to know they're loved and not forgotten, that they're not forsaken. The most important part of what we do is to share the gospel. I'm not interested in good works. I'm not interested in charity. But God gives us this equipment and resources, and it opens doors. And my wife just called me about a great conversation. I won't go into too much details, but it's someone that never would have normally asked for a work order or asked for help, but they saw us next door, and his wife was on oxygen. And then they were able to go to bless and serve that one individual. There's going to be multiple stories like that. And I think this is where you're going to see sometimes in the greatest tragedy and the great loss, people will learn to truly surrender their lives and hearts over to the Lord. And so that's my prayer. And all that we do and all that happens, even in this great loss, God gets their glory.
Just a great conversation, Emily, in so many ways that people can get involved.
That's right. Samaritan's Purse is in 5 locations across 4 states. So if you're willing or able to volunteer or donate, please go to SamaritansPurse.org for more information.
And Liberty University also getting involved now. They're sending teams of students down to help those people in need as well. So certainly doing all we can to help them. And the best thing you can do as well, keep them in your prayers moving forward. All right, we turn now back to football. The last time Liberty took the field, it was a coming out party for wide receiver Ree Smith as he hauled in 3 touchdowns in the Flames' win over ECU.
Yeah, it was a special night for many reasons, but especially when you consider what Smith has had to overcome just to get back on the field for LU. It hasn't been easy, but the lessons he's learned along the way have been worth it.
You never really know a player to me until you see them go through adversity, right? Anybody can be positive and happy when things are going their way. When you're a receiver and you're catching 10 balls a game, you're scoring all touchdowns, it's easy to be happy. But you really find out about people when they go through adversity and what they're really made of. And I think for Reese, you just realize that he's going to be someone who's going to be successful in life no matter what he does, because he has that ability to bounce back and be resilient.
Ree Smith grew up in Danville, Kentucky, and was introduced to the game of football in 2nd grade.
So I started playing running back when I was younger. I guess that's where all athletes or fast kids play, is when they start out. And then as gradually went on. I started, catching the ball, and then I finally got to high school, and that was when I kind of made the transition to receiver. And still didn't know what I was doing, but, caught on pretty quick.
His talents would eventually lead him to West Virginia University, where he would play for 3 seasons and be coached by former NFL receiver Tony Washington.
We just kind of hit it off, had a great relationship, coach-player relationship. Obviously we played the entire year. Things didn't go the way he wanted to there, and so I was looking to make a move. He was looking to make a move.
I like that. I got in the portal, and then he had texted me, and I saw his name pop up on my phone and didn't really think anything about it. He was like, well, I took a job at Liberty with the staff that I was with at Coastal. I was like, oh, really?
So Reese would take a visit to Lynchburg and left with a good feeling about the Flames.
I told my dad on the flight back, this is where I need to go. I was waiting for God to tell me somewhere where I needed to go, and him coming here and recruiting me again, it was kind of a no-brainer.
Reese would excel in his first spring game at Liberty in 2023, but adversity would soon follow that June.
It was like any other day, I was going and working out and didn't feel any different, We were doing 7-on-7, the coaches weren't here, that was their time off, and, ran a route and made a move that I had made 1,000 times, and it's hard to explain. It's kind of an out-of-body experience, I feel like. It was like as soon as my toe hit the ground, I knew something was wrong, but I was freaking out. I had never had a big injury like this. So, they take me to the training room.
And that's where he would learn the devastating news. Reese had torn his ACL and meniscus.
And as soon as he said that, I asked for a towel and put the towel on my face, and I bawled my eyes out. It's hard to talk about it, kind of, but, I was in a bad place for a couple weeks, mentally. Didn't want to talk to nobody, didn't want anything to do with it. I put all this work and hard effort into it, and, I leave schools to come, do something different, and I got these high expectations and working my tail off and stuff, and then, it's taken away from me in literally a split second.
Good one.
Reese would undergo a major surgery to repair his knee, and then the long, grueling journey of rehab would begin.
Post-surgery was brutal. That was one of the worst things I've ever been through.
Doing pretty good. Good job, about 50% body weight. Drive your hips, drive your leg up, bring that knee up. Good, better.
I saw a young man who had 2 options. He either could have sulked and said, why me, and been down and went down a negative road, but at the end of it, you got to realize you got to pick yourself up and keep going, and that's what he did. And to me, it says a lot about him as a person and his character, is the fact that, when adversity strikes, it's going to knock everybody down, but it's about getting back up. And to watch him do that and now be where he is in a position to have a chance to play this year, to me, that's huge.
And he's done more than just play.
High snap brought down by Salter. He throws end zone. Smith is there. He goes up. He comes down. He's got the ball. Light him up. Touchdown, Liberty. Ree Smith.
On September 21st, Reese would lead the Flames to a comeback victory over ECU, scoring a career-high 3 touchdowns.
Pressure's coming backside, throws in the back corner of the end zone, and it's caught! Ree Smith again!
No matter what the future holds, God's taught Reese a valuable lesson through it all.
I've struggled with patience my entire life, and I think that's what taught me more than anything in this journey is patience. Is your time's coming. Just trust me and be patient.
Salter fires down the middle of the field. Guess who? Ree Smith. Ree Smith 3 times tonight has found the end zone for Liberty.
What a game, what a moment, beyond happy for Reese. All right, we stay on the gridiron for our next Flames Flashback. It's a segment we recently started that takes you back to the best moments in Liberty Athletics history. This week, we rush back to the 90s to highlight running back Lawrence Worthington and his record-breaking night at Williams Stadium.
November 19th, 1994. Football's final regular season game against Charleston Southern. Freshman Lawrence Worthington had rushed for 251 yards the week before, but no one expected the kind of records he would set on this night.
Muslow in motion.
The handoff to Worthington, cuts back, touchdown.
He entered the night needing just 80 rushing yards to reach 1,000 for the season. By early in the second quarter, that target was already in the rearview mirror.
Worthington gets the call, cuts back across the 20, fights his way to the 16-yard line. Worthington now over 1,000 yards this season.
And by halftime, it became obvious that Worthington was having a special night.
You know, in the first half, the Liberty University football team had 131 yards rushing. Worthington had 136. What does that tell you?
Coming into the game, Worthington needed a whopping 267 yards to eclipse the single-season rushing record. An improbable goal at the beginning of the night, but as the second half progressed, that mark was coming into view, and the Worthington watch kicked into high gear.
Freeman in motion, a handoff to Worthington. 35, 40, 45. Worthington 223 yards, and we have a quarter and a half to go. He only needs 25 more yards to break the record for rushing in a season.
And that'll put him within striking distance of the single-game rushing record.
255 yards for Worthington.
With just over 10 minutes left in the game, Worthington needed 12 yards for the single-season rushing record and less than 50 yards to set the single-game rushing record. His teammates encouraged him, but he was skeptical.
They kept telling me, keep running, I only need 50 more, I only need 50 more. Well, that seemed like a lot, you know?
Still, he followed his teammates' advice and just kept on running.
Worthington up the middle. He may go all the way. 5, third touchdown tonight for Lawrence Worthington. This one from 23 yards out. And he has officially broken the record with 1,196 yards in this season.
296 yards so far in the ball game, Mike. He's just 4 yards from equaling the Liberty record for a single-game rushing yardage.
Worthington trying to get his 4th touchdown tonight, and he does. He's in for the score.
Has broken the single-game rushing record for Liberty University, 305 yards. A freshman.
In one game, Lawrence Worthington surpassed 1,000 yards on the year, broke the record for rushing yards in a season, and set the single-game rushing record that still stands today. A worthy night's work for Lawrence Worthington.
One of the great individual performances in Liberty football history. Well, we haven't talked a lot about Liberty volleyball so far this season. Maybe that's about to change based on how the Lady Flames opened up conference play. LU beginning CUSA play on the road at Louisiana Tech, and Nolan Albright's squad dialed in. Liberty wins the first match 3-1 and follows it up with a 3-0 win in the second match. Kate Gammer led the Lady Flames in kills in both matches as LU begins conference play 2-0, one of just 4 programs that are unbeaten in the CUSA. All right, we take a timeout, but when we return, learn about how Liberty's athletic shepherds are impacting the Flames student athletes.
Plus, Rhett McGibbon joins us to name his athletes of the week. That's all when Flames Central returns.
Tucked away in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Lynchburg, Virginia, you'll find us, Liberty University. Here, we pursue excellence in all of our academic endeavors, from anywhere. We fight for victory in our athletic programs and fan the flames with a mighty roar. We equip students with a Christ-centered perspective that changes lives. We are creators, problem solvers, and world changers. But above all of this, we are champions for Christ.
Where you train is where you learn how to say, I know this. I've done this. I've got this. I'm ready. So you can surpass expectations when they say you're hired. At Liberty University, you'll train in world-class facilities as you prepare for a world-class career.
So you're looking for a university that has anything you could possibly need.
Anything?
You want a place that has the programs you want to study.
I think I'm going to sign up for the fashion design program.
All right. A place with state-of-the-art facilities.
And who doesn't love big-time sports?
Somewhere you can hike, slide, climb, and most importantly, eat. And all that with a great view? Yeah, I think I know a place.
Welcome back to Flame Central. Attending Liberty University is a unique college experience. Here, the Flames train champions for Christ. When you look across this campus, on and off the field, you see that mission fulfilled in countless areas. And Liberty's Athletic Shepherd program is one of the most important and impactful.
The mission for our Athletic Shepherd, I boil it down to this. We want to do two things. We want to help with spiritual formation. We want to walk alongside of our athletes, no matter where they are, whether they're spiritually mature, whether they don't know Jesus at all. We want to come alongside them spiritually and help them to find out who Jesus is. And so, because no matter what happens, no matter where you are in your relationship with Jesus, life is going to happen. And so we want to be there to care for their soul as well. I'm blessed to be able to interview and hire grad students to serve as athletic shepherds for all of our NCAA sports. From there, I get the opportunity to meet with them every week. We call it our huddle time. We spend time in the Word together. We spend time praying for all of our NCAA athletes by name, and then they go out and do the day-to-day with our student athletes showing up at practices.
It's so unique and such a special program, and the way they were able to help us and just pour into us and share so much wisdom and so much just truth to us, it impacted me more than I could even express.
I think it's a very special position. It's like no other. And Lord has blessed me and all the other shepherds as well to be a part of different programs, NCAA, that allowed us to be a part of the team, be a part of the staff, and do life with them. I think in that, I try not to take it for granted.
Of course, there are several responsibilities to be an athletic shepherd, but it boils down to one thing we focus on, and that's the ministry of presence.
Ministry of presence. That is I think the main thing is like consistency and showing face. I think the more you show up, the more you're consistent and being present with the guys. And I think people on the outside, they see that and they're able to see, that this person cares about us.
I've always encouraged them from day one is to be a presence who has spent time in God's presence. The impact of the Athletic Shepherd ministry has been Scripture exceedingly abundantly above all that I can ask or imagine. The relationships that they're able to build, the trust, again, that's been built in those relationships, has been amazing.
You may not even see the impact that you have on the guys. You may share something, and did it connect with them? It may not have. And I think in that, that's where we have to remind ourselves the bigger picture. Like, man, we're here to serve the Lord, and the Lord He does the healing, He does the transformation, and we're called to stand here and be used as a vessel.
I think it's hard in athletics when you spend hours and hours every single day for your sport not to become your identity. And so the Shepherds being there and being able to pour into us and sharing the truth with us, and constantly telling us we do this sport for something so much bigger than ourselves, it completely changed my outlook on my sport and just my outlook on athletics in general.
My hope is in that many of our student athletes who don't know Christ will come to Christ, because that's the ultimate thing. Here we're trying to train champions for Christ, and you have to know Christ first in order to be trained in Him and be discipled. And so that's the ultimate goal.
Thanks to Caleb Smith for producing that piece. All right, Rhett McGibbon's here. Yeah. You know what that means. Warm, hot, and fuego. Top player moment from the past week in Liberty athletics. Rhett, I'm told, now, sometimes you recycle themes over the years. It happens. We've done a lot of these.
It's been 10 years.
This 10 years, it's true. This is one we've never done before.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I was thinking 10 years. Let's freshen up a little bit. There's AI now.
That's true.
So I thought I'd go to, AI and see if they could give me some good nicknames.
Nicknames.
Now, nicknames for players.
Okay.
I wasn't overly impressed with what came, so take that with what you will.
Computers. Humans are still better at some
That's
things.
true.
All right, Rhett, let's start with Warm. Who's Warm this week?
All right, Gabe Finley, and it came up with the Finley Flash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't think it was too bad. Against Western Illinois, Finley, 3 assists in that game. Great way to start conference play, right? This is a team I think that needed a big win. You're kind of sitting around 500 or just under it, and you want to get back to that 500 mark and hopefully gain some momentum as you head forward into conference play. Gabe Finley, one of those guys that I think will go throughout his Liberty career is underrated. He's always that assist guy. He's a hard worker, a grinder, puts the ball in good areas for his teammates to be able to score. He has 6 assists on the year, leading the team in that, second on the team in points. And so he was dishing out apples, as I say, assists left and right, and Liberty comes away with a big win.
The Finley Flash. All right, from Warm, we go to Hot.
All right, we're going to hockey this week, men's Division I hockey on the road at Pitt. They've got a freshman coming in the lineup. He was a healthy scratch the first game, okay? Comes in, his name's Cal Essenmacher. Caliente.
Caliente.
It fit well.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah, that one's not too bad,
I like
right?
One.
And he is hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this week on Warm, Hot, and Fuego.
True.
3 goals. He had a goal against Florida Gulf Coast University when Liberty got beat. But then against Pitt, the floodgates opened. 3 goals in that first game. It was a 6-0 win, scored 50% of the team's offense. Cal, I love the fact that he's big body forward, freshman coming in. He plays on the team's like 3rd or 4th line, lots of depth this year, so he really can change those in and out. But if this Liberty hockey team can get contributions from their 3rd and 4th line, especially like a hat trick here and there, you're going to have good things happen throughout the year. Really, really hopeful for this men's Division I hockey team. I think they have a lot of talent, and he's a big part of it.
Caliente. All right. Finally, Rhett, in Fuego this week is who?
It's Michael Huss, and I was thinking, no fuss Huss.
No fuss
Right?
Huss.
He just scores goals.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
Yeah, right. Simple.
7 games played, 7 goals. The guy's putting it in the back of the net. He did it in a variety of ways here. You saw first off the header, driving to the net, my boy Leo Kane, just feeding him like his mother, putting it right on the foot, back of the net. And then again, they were just putting him right in front. And that's what Michael Huss does so well. He goes inside the box, he uses that big frame, and then he just tries to create space. If they can get on his foot, typically he can chip it past the goalkeeper, and the Flames are scoring. So Huss, again, a big start for him. This senior campaign for him, he's been on fire here. If he can keep that going into conference play, Liberty's got a real shot in the OVC.
I feel like men's soccer has the pieces to get it done. You hope it's all starting to come together. Rhett, his nickname, Captain Canuck around here. That's what we call him. Hey, still to come, a Liberty legend needs your help. We'll explain when Flames Central returns.
Welcome to Liberty University's online programs, where living out your calling with integrity is what you train to do. And getting ready for the future doesn't mean missing out on the now. Because a university is more than buildings and books. And an education should set you free, not fence you in. Welcome to Liberty's global campus, where distance learning was pioneered and evolved into one of the top-ranked schools in the nation. Where protecting your budget, your time, and your education isn't just a theory, it's our priority. Here, degrees in your field reflect industry demands and help you get ahead of the competition. Where college comes to you, but you can come to college too. Game day, homecoming, graduation day. Your school, your values, your experience, your choice. Welcome to Liberty University, where we train champions for Christ.
Challenges, they're nothing new. At Liberty, we know they make you stronger, force you to learn, adapt, to overcome. When your next challenge comes, be ready. Meet it with a degree that propels you forward. We've helped champions like you succeed for 35 years and counting. And now, over 100,000 students are getting stronger every day. At Liberty University, challenges make champions. Let's overcome together.
Does education mean a room with 4 walls, a desk, and a PowerPoint lecture?
Or is it something bigger?
What if it's the people beside you, 1 chair away or 1 ocean away?
What if it's the chance to learn from your mistakes, as well as your victories?
And the push to keep going either way.
What if it's the freedom to reach for bigger things without missing the little ones in between?
For each of us, education looks a bit different.
Because we're each a bit different.
But at Liberty, we think education might just mean something big enough for all of us.
That's Liberty to us.
What will Liberty be to you?
Welcome back to the show. We're about out of time for this week's show, but before we go, we want to give you an update on the health of a Liberty legend.
Yeah, Liberty basketball's all-time assist leader, Jesse Sanders, announced last week that he's beginning treatment for stage 4 cancer. Sanders, who played at Liberty from 2009 through 2012, was diagnosed with urothelial carcinoma. We ask that you keep he, his wife, his 6 young children in your prayers. Also, if you'd like to see other ways you can help the Sanders family during this time, you can find more on Liberty Basketball's social media pages. You may remember we did a feature on Jesse and his brother, and his 2 brothers. They run a Christian youth camp out in Texas, doing great work out there. If you'd like to see that story and learn a little bit more about him, you can certainly do that. LibertyFlamesCentral.com. Check it out at our website.
Such a great story. And remember, the Flame Central podcast, you can watch it on Wednesday this week because the Flames move to midweek on the mountain. So they'll be taking on FIU at Williams Stadium. Get out there for that and then check out the Flame Central podcast the next day. For Matt, I'm Emily. We'll see you right back here next week.